Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to this channel for shocking real-life stories of betrayal, revenge, and secrets exposed. You won't want to miss what happens next. I never thought my life would turn upside down in a single week. My name is David, and like most men, I believe I knew my wife Sophia inside out. We had been married for 6 years, shared a cozy apartment in the city, and I trusted her completely. But sometimes, trust is a dangerous thing. It blinds you to reality staring right at your face. It all started with small, almost invisible signs. Sophia was working late more than usual, and her phone, once casually lying on the kitchen counter, now stayed glued to her hand, face down whenever I entered the room. She laughed off my questions, called me paranoid, or simply said it was work stress. But a man senses things, even the ones women think are invisible. I had noticed subtle changes in her demeanor, the late-night perfume, the distant gaze, the faint nervousness when I casually mentioned going out early in the morning. Then came the day that broke the thin layer of denial I had been holding on to. I walked past her office on a Friday evening, just to pick up some paperwork I had forgotten. I saw her car parked outside, and a luxury vehicle I didn't recognize. My stomach sank. I tried to rationalize it at first. Maybe a colleague, maybe someone visiting the office. But my gut told me otherwise. When I returned home that night, Sophia was unusually cheerful, almost too cheerful. She avoided eye contact when I casually asked how her day went. Then, while she was distracted by a call, I noticed her laptop was slightly open on the table. A video file caught my eye, unnamed, but the thumbnail was enough. I froze. My heart pounded. With trembling hands, I clicked on it. The screen illuminated a scene I couldn't believe. Sophia, my wife, intimately close with her boss, Mr. Reynolds, someone I had met once at a company event. Every move, every whisper, every kiss, it was undeniable. My world went silent. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. Betrayal, anger, and disbelief collided in a storm inside me. I had loved this woman, shared dreams, and yet she had been living a secret life behind my back. I needed proof, something irrefutable. I began watching her patterns, noticing when she left work, the mysterious text messages, the sudden weekend trips for work. Everything fell into place like puzzle pieces I never wanted to see. Within a week, I had gathered enough evidence to expose the affair beyond any doubt. I knew I couldn't confront her directly. Not yet. Not before securing what I needed to protect myself legally. That weekend, while Sophia was at a supposed business dinner with her colleagues, I uploaded the video to a secure drive and saved multiple copies. I wanted the truth undeniable, something she couldn't twist or manipulate. The betrayal had to have consequences, and I wasn't going to let emotions cloud the reality. By Monday, I had made my first move. I contacted a lawyer, prepared the divorce filings, and set the stage for the confrontation she would never see coming. Monday morning arrived, and I acted as if nothing had changed. Sophia greeted me with a bright smile, completely unaware that the life she had been living in secret was about to crumble. I kept my tone calm, my face neutral, every movement measured. This wasn't a moment for confrontation. It was a moment for precision. She mentioned her weekend, talking about a team-building dinner and a few drinks with Mr. Reynolds. I nodded, pretending to be absorbed in my own work, all the while recalling every second of the video I had seen. My heart was still heavy, but I knew that letting anger dictate my actions would only ruin the strategic advantage I had now. By mid-morning, I had arranged a meeting with my lawyer. I laid out the evidence, and we discussed the best way to ensure the divorce and confrontation went smoothly. I needed everything airtight: documents, timestamps, the video file itself, and a detailed log of her deceptive actions. My lawyer looked at me, understanding immediately. "This isn't just a divorce," she said. "This is a case built on undeniable evidence. You'll get full clarity and legal protection." The hours passed, and I returned home, careful to act completely normal. Sophia didn't suspect a thing. In fact, she seemed unusually relaxed, laughing at a story she heard over the weekend. I reminded myself that this was a performance, a role I had to play perfectly. Patience was my weapon now, and the payoff would be total. That evening, I invited Sophia to dinner at home, creating a casual atmosphere. I wanted her off guard, unprepared for what was coming. We sat at the table, the lights dimmed slightly, our favorite music playing softly in the background. She thought it was a romantic setup. She had no idea I had uploaded the incriminating video to a private cloud and had multiple backups ready for the moment of revelation. As she sipped her wine, I began a casual conversation about work. She laughed, oblivious. Then I paused, letting a heavy silence fill the room. Sophia looked up, slightly concerned. "David, are you okay?" she asked. I smiled faintly, shaking my head. "I'm better than okay," I said, my voice calm but deliberate. "But we need to talk about honesty in marriage." Her smile faltered slightly, but she laughed nervously, brushing it off. That's when I opened my laptop and pressed play. The video began, our living room suddenly filled with the undeniable truth of her betrayal. Sophia froze, wine glass in hand. Her eyes widened in horror as every frame played before her. Her lips parted, but no words came out. I could see the fear and regret flooding her face, a mirror of the shock I had felt a week earlier. She tried to explain, stammering, denying, but the evidence was irrefutable. Every excuse, every lie, dissolved in the cold light of reality. I let her panic, let the silence linger. I didn't shout. I didn't accuse. I simply let the truth speak louder than any words I could ever say. By the time the video ended, Sophia was shaking, completely exposed. I stood, collected a laptop, and said calmly, "I've already contacted a lawyer. The divorce papers are ready. There's nothing left to discuss." The power shift was absolute. The betrayal that had once hidden in the shadows was now fully illuminated, and I held the control she had so recklessly thrown away. Sophia stood there, stunned, unable to form words. The confident, casual woman I had known for years was gone, replaced by fear, guilt, and a realization that her choices had consequences she could no longer escape. I watched silently, letting her panic sink in. This was the moment of truth, the final act of story she had written with deception and betrayal. After a few tense minutes, she finally whispered, "David, I can explain." Her voice was trembling, fragile, the arrogance that had once blinded her completely gone. I shook my head slowly, my expression calm but resolute. "There's nothing left to explain, Sophia. I saw everything, and there's no excuse that can undo the damage you've done." I could see the tears welling in her eyes, but I didn't move closer. I had loved her, trusted her, and yet she had violated the foundation of our marriage, the intimacy we shared, the life we built together. All of it had been overshadowed by her choices. And now, the only path forward was clear: divorce. I handed her the papers. Her hands shook as she took them, glancing down at the documents, reading through the lines that would officially end our 6-year marriage. She looked up at me, searching for a reaction, a shred of forgiveness, anything that might indicate that I still care enough to reconsider. I didn't give her that. My eyes were steady, my voice unwavering. "Sign them. Let's finish this. There's nothing left for us." Sophia's sobs filled the room, a haunting soundtrack to the life we once shared. I could feel the anger inside me slowly turning into a cold, measured clarity. The betrayal had hurt, yes, but it also taught me a lesson. Trust is sacred, and once broken, it cannot be restored. I had acted with patience, strategy, and precision, not out of cruelty, but out of self-preservation and the need for justice. As she signed the papers, I couldn't help but feel a sense of liberation. The weight of deception, the constant questions, the sleepless nights of suspicion, all of it lifted. I knew this was not just an ending, but a new beginning, a chance to reclaim control over my life, to ensure that the next chapter would be defined by honesty, respect, and trust, not lies and secrecy. Even after the divorce was finalized, I kept the video and evidence securely stored. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about protection, proof of reality, and closure. Sophia had made her choices, and now I could make mine. I focused on myself, my work, and the future I had once imagined alongside her. But now it was my future alone, free from manipulation, deceit, and betrayal. In the weeks that followed, life began to regain its rhythm. I moved out of the apartment we had shared, packing away memories that now felt tainted. Friends and family offered support, and I allowed myself to grieve, to feel the pain, and then slowly to heal. The scars of betrayal remained, but they were reminders, not of weakness, but of survival, resilience, and the power of facing the truth head-on. Looking back, I realized that the real strength wasn't in catching Sophia or filing for divorce. The true strength was in maintaining clarity, in acting deliberately, and in refusing to let betrayal define who I was. Life had handed me a cruel lesson, but it had also given me the opportunity to rise above it, to emerge stronger, wiser, and more cautious about who I trusted. The story of betrayal, exposure, and justice had come to a close, but the lesson remained. Trust, once broken, can never be fully restored. And some betrayals, no matter how painful, are the catalyst of the greatest personal growth.